Blood of the Lily, Clash of Goddesses, Book 1, by S.D. Houston. Narrated by S.D. Houston.
Chapter 3. Great gods and goddesses! Rose sheathed her dagger. I've never seen an eagle do that before. Lily hadn't either. What was going on today? She still looked after the bird's departure where higher up many branches were bare. The deluge of the past week's rain had stripped treetops. Trailing ivy hugged the bark of many trees. Another cold wind swept through the clearing, and she pulled the ends of her heavy wool cloak closer together. She trekked back to the dirt path. They needed to get the hunt on. With so many rainy days, their meat stores were depleted. Maybe there was some truth to Rose's words. Two such extraordinary occurrences happening on Samhain seemed to support the assumption that the good folk could interfere in the natural world. But was that really a leprechaun? Or just a very, very small man? Rose followed this time, bounding to her side. A smile stretched the corners of her mouth wide. "Lil, we just saw a leprechaun." She gave her sister a sidelong glance as she traveled the worn path. A leprechaun, a creature of myth and legend, one of the fairy folk. For a moment, a little light burnt away the gray edges of misery that shrouded most of her waking moments. To believe in such magic, she shook her head, biting her lower lip. Never forget. This was the first Samhain without their sister, the sister who had completed them as triplets. An invisible weight threatened to drag her down. She laid a free hand over her heart, a stitch tightening there, and tried to take a deep breath. It stuck in her throat. Her nose tingled with a threat of tears. She forced them back with quick blinking. Rose caught her shoulders, forcing her to stop and face her. "Not again, sister." Her light blue eyes moved over Lily's face, eyebrows lowered. "I miss her too." Lily released the air stuck in her throat and looked at the sweep of red hair flattened on Rose's forehead. A bead of water slipped down the strands. She flicked it away before slipping out of Rose's grasp. "It wasn't your fault." Her sister's voice followed behind her. "I don't care what you believe. Her death was an accident, a senseless and tragic accident." Lily jerked at each word. She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came. She closed her mouth and shrugged. "Gods, you're stubborn," Rose huffed. "She wouldn't want you to waste your days in sorrow. Mourn her, but move on." How could Rose have let her sorrow for Marigold go so quickly? It had only been a few months since she died. Lily looked back at her sister, who threw up her hands. Just then a twig snapped. Rose's eyes widened as her gaze focused over Lily's shoulder. What else could happen today? Automatically, she sent out questing images to any nearby land animals, but they were silent. She peered into Rose's eyes. While Lily could communicate with land animals, her sister could communicate with sky animals. But Rose's head shake told her nothing. Seeing that Rose still focused on something beyond Lily, she spun around, knuckles turning white on her spear shaft, and faced a new intruder. A handsome, foreign man. Tall, with skin darker than anyone she had ever seen, he held himself the same way warriors did. Still, but with an easy grace. His face was angular, and long black lashes rimmed olive-shaped eyes. Dark hair curled around his face. At seeing their defensive stances, he held up his hands. His richly embellished cloak swirled back, revealing a metal breastplate and a sheathed sword underneath. "Hello." His accent was heavy, not at all lyrical, as if he had just learned to speak their language. Rose lowered her dagger. "What are you doing out here all alone, stranger?" "I'm not alone." He looked over his shoulder before turning back to dazzle them with a smile, his teeth white in his dark face. "I heard voices, so I came to look while I was waiting." Not alone? Were there others ready to ambush them? Lily's entire body tensed, but his continued smile dulled her senses. His lips curved so nicely. She squinted and cursed inwardly. No distractions. Ever so slowly, she inched into a better position to leverage her spear. Rose returned his smile. Waiting for what? "My guide." Deeply brown eyes shifted back and forth between them. "You might know her, Bandriana." Rose clapped her hands and smiled. Lily rolled her eyes at her sister, but smiled as well. Bandriana was from the Druidic order with a skill set in healing. However, she was also the love of their mother's life, and as close to Lily and her sisters as a second mother. Before a time Lily could remember, Anna had made Rablahona her permanent home, and taught the girls how to use their Dailakath, their gift for communicating with animals. When Lily felt Rose relax, she jabbed an elbow into her side. Rose threw her a dirty look, but took the hint. "What concerns do you have with Anna?" "She told me that Lily and Rose could help me with the shortcut to Elandavra." Elandavra, the Isle of Oaks, home to the Ardudri, the High Druid, Moiri. "Why would you need to go there?" His smile slipped, the corners drooping. The inner corners of his eyebrows rose, but his eyelids loosened. And in the depths of his deep brown eyes, something darkened. Sadness. Lily understood the emotion. He ran a hand through his curls.
I'm looking for my brother, who is lost in this land.
Lily nodded. She knew about losing a sibling.
Moiri may be able to help me find him.
They knew the shortcut. It would be faster if they took him through the mountains instead of going along the coastline, where they'd have to stop at every rath to make their presence known and avoid being attacked. Rose shifted on her feet, her dagger lowering a bit. It was not in her nature to suspect others, so Lily nudged her again. Her sister's arm came back up. Well, tell us now, stranger. Who are you? And what have you done with Anna? I don't see her anywhere. With a boyish grin, he slapped an arm over his chest and tilted his head in a bow.
My apologies. My name is Quintus.
Then he strode toward them, a brown hand extended. Rose jerked, but Lily sniffed. What did he suppose we would do with that hand? He shook his head, smiling again while lowering his arm. He stopped only a couple of paces from them.
I'm a Greek soldier.
So this is what Greek people looked like. Although shipments of goods made it to Rablahona a few times a year from the numerous states currently under Roman control, she had never seen one of the people until today. I'm Rose, and this be my sister Lily. A pink blush spread across her cheeks as she introduced them. Lily blinked at her sister. Did Rose fancy the man? She pinched the bridge of her nose, but then caught the man studying her, his eyes intense. She tried to shrug off the feeling he stirred inside her. He was too nice looking. This close, his skin was like the color of algae swirled in mud. Golden flecks lightened his eyes. His cloak, a deep indigo color with yellow scrollwork on the edges, spoke of wealth, along with the manicured nails of the hand he dropped. However, calluses had lined the palm, evidence of his professed job. What did he do as a soldier? Stirring lust tugged at her middle. She lowered the butt of her spear to the ground with a loud thunk. What was she thinking? He could be a slimy worm. Trying to recapture the Greek's attention, Rose bounced on her toes. Where is Anna, then? Interestingly, a slight blush darkened his brown cheeks.
She had to take care of business.
Business? Dark lashes lowered over his eyes.
Personal business of a certain nature.
Oh, Rose chuckled at his discomfort. She should be back soon. He nodded, probably relieved to not have to go into more detail. Rose clapped her hands again, excitement evident in her face. Yay! You can stay with us tonight to celebrate Samhain. Then we can leave in the morning. He nodded, his shoulders dropping a little.
I had hoped to leave sooner, but I understand.
Lily gazed over his body again. Going through the mountains was a rough trek. His thick cloak hid much, but she remembered the muscled forearm that had reached toward them a moment before. A very strong arm. Overall, good enough health and stamina to make the journey. Again, her body reacted to her perusal of the Greek. Her cheeks heated. When did she become so foolish? Was it because there was a shortage of men her age? Better to concentrate on what mattered, the hunt. She touched Rose's arm in warning, then dropped to the ground holding her spear upright before closing her eyes. Rose immediately understood, her voice barely breaking Lily's concentration. We still need to find meat for tonight. Find the druidess and we'll meet you back here. Lily opened her awareness, reaching out around to test for the presence of wildlife. Although the small man had scared away most creatures, some had crept forward to forage again, deer and rabbits mingling together. They were near enough that she could communicate through vague images, but nothing concrete without a physical touch or closer proximity. A single buck moved across her awareness. Careful, she touched upon his mind, hiding her intentions. She did not disguise her or her sister as friendly, as she might have done had they only meant to pass through. She didn't like tricking the animals, but they needed this hunt. She was so tired of eating tubers and plants. In a fluid motion, she leapt to her feet and plunged through the forest, the rain's clean scent mingling with the smell of dirt and wet leaves. Rose jogged next to her as the sound of Anawumbrondan, the salmon river, gurgled nearby. She kept her awareness open for any other dangers. They'd been ingrained since learning to walk to never let their guard down while in the forest. Even with their gifts, attacks could come from wolves or reavers, mercenary soldiers who often scavenged for extra food, supplies, or whatever else they could steal from unwary travelers. A bright light flickered in a tree ahead, almost giving her pause. As she came to the large rowanberry tree, nothing out of the ordinary appeared high up in its branches. Birds flitted from limb to limb, peering down on her and Rose. Her sister gestured ahead to her, communicating that the birds did not warn of any threats. Lily continued. After a quarter of an hour, they came to a stand of tightly packed ferns and evergreens. She raised a hand and then slipped between them. The forest darkened as taller tree boughs interlaced above, blocking the sun. Winter's coming frost haunted each shadowed step. In near silence, she came upon the buck, grazing alone in a cleared space between trees. As she balanced a spear in her throwing hand and faced the deer with her lead foot, she sent a prayer. Fleetish of the tangled wood, mistress of stag and doe and all free creatures, thank you for this wonderful gift. May this deer's body nourish our bodies, and may its memory nourish our souls. Bringing the spear back, she rotated her hips slightly backward while keeping her lead foot firmly on the ground. Another twinkle of light out of the corner of her eye almost distracted her, but she ignored it. Bringing her arm forward in a slight arch, she twisted her shoulder forward and pivoted on her back leg. The spear barely made a whistle as it sailed through the air and struck the buck squarely behind the shoulder. End of Chapter 3. Copyright 2021 by S.D. Houston. I hope you enjoyed this third chapter in Blood of the Lily. If you want to know the rest of the story of how Lily and Rose end up in a world of trouble with the leprechaun, you can purchase the novel through the links in the description box below. Thank you for listening.